Hello friends, so today we will discuss about the plate girder. Now, what is the plate girder? Basically, it is made up of the two words, that is the one is the plate, another is the girder. Girder means in the steel structure, generally we call as the I section. If we make a I section with the help of the plates, so let's say these are the three plates and we join these plates in the form of the I, then that type of section is called as the plate girder. Now, first of all, what is the purpose of this plate girder and why we will design this type of section? When as we know that we generally use the readily available hot rolled sections which are having some limitations, having some limited depth, as in the India generally maximum depth of the sections available is the 600 mm, and even if we use the cover plates at the top and bottom with the flange, then sometimes due to the span, heavy span or more span and heavy load, these type of readily available hot rolled sections may not be sufficient. So there are the generally three conditions where we generally design these type of plate girder, or we can say that the readily available hot rolled sections are not sufficient for the generally three types of condition. First, when the larger span is there or heavy load is there, sometimes we have to provide or we have to carry the heavy loaded crane in the industrial area, or sometimes in the third case there may be the bridge, we have to provide the road bridge. So there may be the three places we can say that three regions for providing plate girder. First is we can say that the large span or heavy load. Second, where we have to crane load in industries, and third one may be in the road oblique railway bridge. So these are the three locations where our readily available I section may not sufficient even with cover plates. At that time we design the plate girder. So depends upon the situation. So depend upon the situations, the depth of the plate girder may vary from 1.5 meter to 5 meter. So generally we do not recommend or we do not take the less than 1.5 meter. Sometimes we can take 1 meter, but generally we avoid because there is the additional cost to fabricate such types of plate girder, because these type of sections we have to build up or fabricate at the site only. Now, types. So basically based on the connections, three types are here. First is the riveted plate girder. Next is the bolted plate girder. Third one is the welded plate girder. So what is the difference between these three types? Basically only the difference is that how we connect the flange plate and web plate with each other. So here I am drawing all three types of plate girder. Let's say we are using two flange plate and one web plate in all three types. So this is generally, and these are the two flange plated, one web plate. These are not connected with each other. Now in the case of the welded, what we will do, we will simply carry out the welding here. So this will be the welding. Okay, so now this type of connections are, or this type of plate girder made up of like that. So these are the welded plate girder. Now in the case of the riveted, what we cannot provide the riveted directly in this type. So what we will do, we will provide the additional angles. So here so these are the angles. So angles are in 4 numbers. Sometimes we can take two, one here, one at opposite on the bottom side. So in this way we can, but these are the strength of these type of connections are less. So that's why we generally provide in all the faces at the and at top and bottom. So there we will require 4 number of angles. So now how? So here what we will do, we will like that. So these are the riveted. So in this way we can made up of a riveted type welded, riveted type plate girder. Now in the case of the bolted, all things are same, but we generally use the bolted instead of the riveted. So again there will be the 4 angles we will use. So this will be the bolted plate girder and this will be the riveted plate girder. So based on the connections we can classify our plate girder into the three types. Now we comes to the elements. So there are only we can say that the elements. So this is the, we can say that the flange plate, or we can say that this is the top flange plate, this is the bottom flange plate, this is the web, and these are the connecting angles, and these are the riveted, bolted, or in the case of the welded, we do not require the connecting angles. So these are the basic elements. Now, as we know that there are the main two components or main two elements in the plate girder. First is the flange, another is the web. So now we have generally in our structure generally two types of forces are acting over that. First is the bending moment, another is the shear force. So as we know that in the case of the beam, so generally our flange part is taken care of the bending moment, and this web part is taken care of the shear force. Why? So basically, let's say this is a I section, and we are calculating the bending stresses or shear stresses in this section. So what will happen? So for the bending stresses, so this is the cross section of I section oblique beam. So this is the bending stress distribution diagram, and this will be the neutral axis. Now, so we can observe from figure then major part of the bending moment is taken care by these flange plates. Okay. Now in the case of the shear stress, what will happen? If we draw, so this will be the shear stress distribution diagram. So we can observe that the major part of the shear force is taken by the web only. So when we design this plate girder, then we generally neglect this web will taken care of this bending moment, and in the case of the shear stress, we generally neglect that this flange plate will take care of any type of the shear stress. So this will be our basic theory or basic principle how we will design. Now another element, as these are not readily available sections, so we can decide the width of the flange plate as well as the depth of the or height of this plate girder or web plate. So at that time there may be some problem creates. First, when we increase the height of the sections, so if we take the more thickness of the web plate, then our section will be uneconomical or it will be costlier. So our first aim is that we have to reduce the cost or our section should be economical. So in that case, what we will do, we will decrease the thickness of the different elements. So different elements means flange plate or web plate. So when we decrease the web thickness of any sections, definitely we will get the economy. So in that case, what we will do, we will decrease the thickness and we will increase the height. So now when the height will increase, what will happen? This lever arm will increase and moment capacity of these flange plate with the same area will be much more. But at the same time, if we decrease the thickness of this, so what will happen? This web plate may buckle. How it may buckle? So let us see. So this is called as the shear buckling of web. So I am drawing a only line diagram. Now due to the excessive load, if suppose loading acting here at that, so these flange plate will act as a support and this web plate will act as the column if height is greater. So now what will happen, this plate, web plate will buckle like that. So in our case we have to make sure that our web plate should not be buckle much more or beyond our permissible limit. So in that case we have to provide some additional elements. These are called as the stiffeners. So what is stiffeners? So why these elements are called as the stiffeners? Because additional elements that are providing additional stiffness to our sections, so that sections or that elements are called as the stiffeners. Now where we will provide these? So there are the two types of stiffeners. First is the transverse stiffeners, another is the longitudinal stiffeners. So these are the basically longitudinal stiffeners are the horizontal and these are the vertical. So now transverse stiffeners are two types basically. First is the bearing stiffeners, another is the intermediate. Intermediate stiffeners. So bearing stiffeners is sometimes called as the and stiffeners because we generally provide these types of stiffeners at the support only, because at the support there will be the maximum shear stress and there will be the much more chances of the buckling of the web plate at the support only. That's why we provide the stiffeners at the end or at the support. So that type of stiffeners are called as the bearing stiffeners. Another stiffeners is the intermediate. So intermediate stiffeners are basically provided in between the supports so that our strength of this buckling in the buckling, shear buckling can be increased by using this intermediate stiffeners. So in this video we will discuss in detail about the intermediate stiffeners. Now first of all we comes to the longitudinal or horizontal stiffeners. First of all we have discussed these two types of stiffeners, and so basically let's say this is the cross section of plate girdle and this is the L section of the plate girder. This is the cross section of plate girder. This is the L section of plate girder. Okay. Now at the bearing, what we will do, we will provide a additional plate on both sides. If I am drawing, so this is the bearing or end stiffeners. Okay. Now at the intermediate, we generally so these are the intermediate stiffeners. Basically, the distance between these is generally 1 to 2 meter. It is generally we do not take it less than 1 meter, and generally we do not take it more than 2 meter. And again, in the cross section, these intermediate stiffeners will remain same. So now there is the one theory, that is the tension field method. Basically, what will happen that at that time, if it is buckle, then what will happen? There will be the principle of the complementary shear stress. So in the complementary shear stress, what will happen? This one diagonal will subjected to the compression, another diagonal will be subjected to the tension. So the diagonal which is subjected to the compression. So there is already compression, and the diagonal subjected to the compression, so that will be weak in the buckling, or there will be the much more buckling. But at the same time, what will happen if suppose, let's say this is the so this is the tension and this is the compression. So due to the tension on the another diagonal, so this our panel will act as a straight or is act as a non-buckle member. So that's why we generally use this tension field method to design these stiffeners, or to decide the distance between two stiffeners. So now we come to our longitudinal type stiffeners. So this is the transfer stiffeners. Or these are called as the horizontal stiffeners. So basically there are the provisions to step by step provided. If we provided stiffeners, so at that time, first of all we will provide the end bearing stiffeners. If we require much more stiffeners, then we will provide the intermediate stiffeners. At the third case, we will provide the horizontal stiffeners. When buckling is much more, then we will go for the horizontal stiffeners, and there may be the two level. First is the at point 2D from top flange, and next is the at neutral axis. If suppose this is our cross section, and this is the L section. So here, if suppose we required a horizontal stiffener only at a one level, so this will be provided point 2D. So D is the depth of web. So here we will provide in this manner. Okay. Now if we provide any additional stiffener, additional horizontal or this longitudinal stiffeners, that at that time this will be the d by 2. So this distance will be the d by 2, this will be the 0.2 d. So in this way we generally provide the longitudinal stiffeners. Why we provide these two locations? Why we do not provide below this neutral axis? Because below the neutral axis there will be the tension due to the bending, and the buckling will be taken care by the that tension due to the bending. So hence there is no requirement of the longitudinal or horizontal stiffeners below the neutral axis or the tension zone. But in the compression zone there will be the compression due to buckling as well as there will be the compression due to the bending. So that two compression will create the severe conditions, and this will be approximately half of this distance. So hence we generally provide first our horizontal stiffeners at a depth of the 0.2 d from the top flange. If we require additional, so at that time there will be the this maximum force due to this buckling plus this compression due to bending, that will be the at the neutral axis. So to taken care of these bucklings we provide horizontal stiffeners at the two levels only. So this is about the stiffeners. Now we comes to our the design steps, how we'll carried out the design. So basically in this video we will discuss only the brief idea about the design of the this plate girder. So in the brief, so what will be the design steps of plate girder? First of all, we will calculate self weight. Generally we used the empirical formula, this where this is the self weight, this is the total live load. Okay, so in this way we can find out the self weight. Now we know the this live load, then we will add these and multiply by the 1.5, then we will calculate the bending moment and shear force. Now design for moment or oblique flange plate. So we will use this formula, MD equals to beta ZP Fy upon gamma. Okay, so these are the basically terms. Okay, so now design for this moment or flange plate will be this MD equals to beta ZP Fy upon gamma. This is the basically factor, and as per the IS 800, so we have to refer the IS 800 2007, that is for steel structures and based on the limit state, and ZP is the plastic section modulus, Fy is the yield stresses, gamma is the factor of safety. So in this way we can find out this MD. We know that this is the design bending moment, and then beta here we do not know, so hence we will take it 1, and we will this take it ZP is the A into distance D, and Fy 250 generally taken it, and this gamma is the 1.1. In this way we calculate the area of the flange plate, and then we will provide the flange plate at top and bottom. Now this for the web plate, and this VD will be the this VD will be this AB area required in the shear Fy upon gamma upon root 3. So this formula will give the area of the web plate. So VD is the design shear force, AB is the area in shear force or web area, and Fy is the again yield stresses of the web plate, that will be the 250, gamma is the 1.1, and this will be the root 3. So in this way we can calculate the area required for the web plate, and we will design the web plate. In the next section we will check for shear buckling, again by using the IS 800. Then if required we design bearing stiffeners. If required, design intermediate stiffeners, and if required, design longitudinal stiffeners. So these are the basic design steps to design any plate girder, and at last we will design the connections of the web and flange plate. So friends, so in this way, this is the introductory part of the plate girder. In some video we will discuss about the detailed analysis or detailed design of the plate girder. So you can refer the IS 800. This is the IS 800 2007 for design the plate girder or basic terminology of the plate girder. So in the next video we will discuss about the design and analysis of the plate girder. Thank you. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me your doubts through the comment box that is generally given in the below of the video, and this video